Good morning. Good morning. Java Delight will uplift you. Stay tuned. The show is about to begin. Grab your coffee. Stay tuned. This show is about to begin.
Wait. Okay.
You get to do the good morning now after that.
I'm so sorry. Good morning, guys. Sorry for interrupting you so in the first sentence. Sorry.
I literally was like that was weird. All of a sudden there was like this. I'm like, whoa. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brandon Croucher, CEO of Delight Cafe, and I am with the one, the only, the South African Queen, whether you knew it or not. This is the South African Queen, Miss Ilse. How are you, Miss Ilse, this morning?
I am good. It's Monday. It's been a long weekend. I went to bed very early last night. And then this morning,
I did too.
And then this morning, 6 o'clock, I woke up and I'm like, this is ridiculous. I don't even have anything to wake up for. Why the hell will you wake up at 6? So I turned around and I slept until 7. And I turned around and I said, gee whiz, another hour. Thank you so much. And I turned around and I tried it again. And by 8 o'clock, I was like, let me just get out of this bed. This is not working. So I just got busy.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I interrupted you.
I just got busy with all my stuff, arranging the interview because the Stone Daisies is starting again on Wednesday. So I just confirmed all my hey Sherry, hi guys. I just confirmed the band that's gonna be on, and I on Saturday had a meeting with another production company, a music production company that approached me to do their podcast Until I Come to America, which will be a paying job because the what they do is they're gonna they call it brown soul TV, so it's soul music and blues and jazz and kind of things that they do. And then they've got jazz. They've got a cigar lounge. And it is so beautiful. And the one of the bands that we know, I saw this morning organized that they do their album launch there in January. So we're up and running, busy doing a lot of things.
That's awesome. That's a lot of good things.
Yes, we're very excited. A lot of things. I have another friend that's in the music industry he's flying down from Canada on the 23rd of November and then going back on the 4th of Jan. Just introducing him to all the bands and stuff because he's got a lot of connections in the music industry in Canada and in the metal industry there and everything. So he's flying down to come and meet the band members and be on the podcast and all that. So we're very excited for things. Things are moving very, very fast.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I'm so happy for you. Literally click that as I was saying it. Good morning. Oh, there is our guest. Yes, we are so excited you're going to be coming on. We actually, Ilse and I getting ready for the show, we're both excited for what you're bringing today. You're going to be bringing us a wealth of knowledge, Miss Aimee. You're going to be bringing us, the best way of putting it is, it says it on our website. Are you tired? Are you tired of running out of money, energy? Like, let's let her force and help to let her force and help and learn to cultivate growth, clear thoughts of sacredity, and claim your innate confidence. Man, my dyslexia is. She is going to bring it, and on a Monday morning, I don't think there's anything more you can want. Like, that is a great way to start our day.
Exactly, and the week.
And the week. Like, Aimee, I hope you're ready. You're bringing the energy to start the week in a positive direction to help us all. I am so excited as well. Thank you for having me. I just got a text message telling me how nice I look today.
What you do? You look very beautiful today.
So I started on Friday, Sober October. I'll tell you that. I'm trying. I don't drink much. I don't. I one drink a week if at most. Yeah. I don't smoke cigarettes. I once in a while will have a vape pen or something like that. My big thing is I enjoy other natural made products, and I'm not very shy on it on here. I enjoy the cannabis plant, but the thing is, anything can become a problem. And I realized I was smoking way more than I should be. And I was using it as a crutch. And what was interesting is I wrote that to myself in a meditative mind state, is that my cannabis use has become a crutch for not accepting realities of who I am at times. So for October, I decided I'm not going to smoke at all. I'm not smoking anything. I could be with friends. I'm not going to smoke cigarettes. I'm not going to smoke. I don't smoke cigarettes anyways, but like, I want to break free from the stalling I've been having in my life. I want to push into that next phase of my life. So it's been an interesting one. I am on day 4 of completely sober. I'm even not doing coffee
as well. That's cold turkey as well. So I take my hat off to you. I'm not smoking as much, but I'm trying not to kill anybody. So now and then I'll take like a drag of a cigarette, but I haven't had coffee and I have had no meat.
See, you're doing coffee and meat. I'm doing coffee and cannabis and alcohol, but alcohol is just because I feel if I can go a month without alcohol, I'm going to see a difference. So this weekend, it's football season. Everybody's doing barbecues, tailgates, all these different things. So in the United States, we turn around and we go out on these weekends. We go to bars and we drink with our family, our friends, and all this. Everybody noticed I wasn't drinking. Everybody noticed I wasn't smoking. And they were like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm fine. I'm trying something new." And I'd explain it. I'll tell you this. It's really difficult because I see how my mind works. I see the anxiety that I feel. And it was one of these things where I literally felt I needed to go smoke at times this weekend. And that was not a healthy feeling for me. It was, wow, you shouldn't need something like that to feel balanced. You shouldn't need something like that to keep going. So for me, I really wanted to make sure I let go of a lot of my things I'm holding on to. So for this Sober October, I am 4 days in. I have not smoked anything. I have not done anything. I've not even done an edible. Trust me, I was trying to play games with myself. I even had people offer me CBD flower, and I said it won't work. It's the smell, all of it. The funny thing is, the last time I wore this shirt, I wrapped stuff in it, and I can smell that it was good stuff. So I literally am like, I put this shirt on, and I'm like, that's not good for me. Sober October.
That's like going through a breakup and smelling your ex-boyfriend's t-shirt.
It's like, no, I literally, I know I'm going to be okay on this. It's just one of those things where it was like this needed. I asked the universe where I'm stagnant and what I need to break, and that was something that that was a weakness of mine. And it became a crutch. And when I say I was writing that in my journal, like I literally was writing over the weekend a lot and trying to break into myself. God, did it hit me in so many different ways. And what was interesting was how my writing came out, and I didn't share it with anybody at this point. And I heard 3 different times when I told people I'm doing Sober October, that I heard 3 different times how our anxieties, our things can become a trigger, and how we can become accustomed to them and not even realize that we're bringing these into our lives. So for me, this is a big one. This is one that I know is going to be a good thing for me by the end of October. I'm working out. I'm meditating. I'm eating right. This month is. Because yes and no. So I went to a
Oh.
juice bar because I'm an hour away from the house. Right now, I'm house sitting, as you could tell. I'm not in Egypt, even though it really looks cool behind me. But like, I'm 100% like doing what I'm supposed to do on these things. I'm exercising. I've even started reaching out to people saying like, "Hey, I need you to keep me accountable." And it's people who are not a part of the show. It's people who like tune in to say hi and I love you and hey and good luck to everybody. So I want everybody to know how grateful I am that people are doing this. But I want you to know that this one's a big one for me. This is something that I want to do because I believe I'm supposed to look deep inside myself to find the best leadership I'm supposed to be, and surround myself with the people that the universe has aligned to become who Brandon is supposed to be. And that's not always easy for everybody. And that's something for me I've always struggled with. I hate being alone. How do you deal being alone? Like, just a random question. Like, how do you
So
handle
do you
being
want?
alone?
Okay, I actually had this conversation with Faith, my friend that lived here on the other side of the room. We actually talked about it, and she I said something about shower, and she said she's going to stand in the shower and cry. And I'm like, I do that often. I said, but I don't cry because I'm sad. And I don't cry because I'm lacking anything in my life. I cry because I'm lonely. I said, and there is someone special that I miss, that I am not in contact with and everything. And I still miss them. So I don't deal as well with the loneliness. I sit by myself and then just do. That's why I keep myself busy with building the connections on Facebook for the music podcast and for the channel and for everything. That is what I put my passion, because it's another passion of mine. So when I feel like that, I keep myself busy with that. But some days I don't deal well with it because it's not nice. It's not nice when you've got good news and you have nobody to share it with. It's not nice
Yeah.
when you've got a joke and you've got nobody to tell it to. It's not nice when you just want somebody to be there for you, like you've been there for everybody and nobody's there. And that was the biggest lesson that I had to learn, was that attachment from letting other people have authority over my happiness.
Mm-hmm.
So yes. So I'm happy with my life where I am now. I won't change anything. I like the journey that I'm on, and I'm like that what I learn about myself, being by myself, I've got the time to literally go inside and deal with my issues, because I, in any case, don't want somebody in a relationship to be with me in a relationship if you're just going to waste my time. I'll rather be alone.
Well, that's the thing. How many times
Most
do we dive
people,
into a relationship? I mean this as in, like, this is why I decided to be single for the entire month of, or entire year of 2021. Is I was so codependent of my relationship that I didn't know who I was, and that was the main reason I stepped outside of it. Is I needed to be able to push myself. I needed to be able to see myself in a way that's completely different.
I did the same, and then I allow people to do things just because I don't want to be lonely. And I have been single since May 2020. So we're almost going for 2 years. I do not have the need for superficial relationships, and that's 99% of the time that's all that people can give me, because I know what I want and I know what I deserve, and what people are trying to offer me is not that. So I don't even put myself in that positions anymore. I tell people immediately, you're wasting my time, because I think if that connection is there, you'll know it. You will know immediately, and you'll know. And I said that I will not go into a superficial relationship ever in my life again. I'll rather be alone.
And that's my thing, is I don't want superficial. I don't want codependent relationship. And that's where, like, and I don't mean this as in like a significant other either. I mean friends. I mean family. I mean, like, you become codependent of needing people. And I should be able to be alone without crying. And that's just me being very vulnerable and honest.
No,
And
that's why when I'm alone as well, you know what? That is your emotions and you need to feel it. Do not ever feel bad for crying or feeling your emotions. Men and people get told, why are you crying? Oh, it's not that bad. I am a very emotional person. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I'm a very honest person as well. And sometimes too honest for my own good. And I think that's why people don't want to hang around with me, because I have this motto that I picked up when I decided to change my life. The day I walked out of my marriage was, I will not let anybody have control over my life ever again on what I decide or what I want to do. Never, ever, ever, ever will I give anybody power over that. And I will not give anybody power in abusing me with their mouth, with their actions when I don't do what they expect me to do.
yeah.
Because I am responsible for my life and I will take responsibility for my decisions, because I know why I make certain decisions in my life at what certain time, because I have been there the whole time. So I know what has happened in the past when I made different choices. So I'm not going to let anybody dictate my choices or the way I am, or how I convey things, because I always do it in a respectful way. And people usually react because they don't like what I'm saying. It's not that it's not the truth. It's they don't like what I'm saying because I
Right.
don't sugarcoat it. And because I don't have a dependent relationship on anybody, I give you what you ask for. If you give me respect, I will give you respect. If you're gonna disrespect me or see me as a sexual object or just somebody you can bully, you can be for certain that you will not be part of my life. I do not allow it. I don't allow low vibrational people close to me. I help people that want to be helped.
I love that. So Ryan, that's a great way to start our Mental Health Monday. Mondays are Mental Health Mondays. Tuesdays will be Testosterone Tuesdays. We'll talk about men and health for men. Wednesdays are the Wonder of Women. Wow.
Because we're wonderful.
Because you women are wonderful, and we're all left saying wow when we're around you. And from there, it's Thursdays, Thankful Thursdays, and Fridays, we're debating on the names still. Oh, nope, I guess we're not. It's fucking Fridays.
No, we're not. It's fucking Fridays.
All right. Ryan chimed in with what sounds like an amazing breakfast this morning. He says, good morning, Delight Heads. Banana swirled raspberry mousse, buttercream stuffed crepes, microgreens, and an amber honey on top. I hate to say that sounds amazing, because that sounds amazing. And Ryan, I'm on my way to your house.
Me too.
Like, I'll see you guys a little bit. Damn it,
See
I
you in a
can't get the
bit.
button.
Bye.
I'm going to get food. Oh, that sounds amazing.
It does.
This weekend has been fun, though, and I wish I got to see Ryan this weekend. Being bold and direct and determined is different than being stuck up or conceited. Very well said. Very well said. The door's open. The door is open. That's going to be interesting. I'm just going to walk in there and start eating. That's Ryan. He's saying the door's open. I stayed home.
Some self-love.
I did a lot of self-love this weekend. That sounds much more inappropriate than I meant it to be. But it literally was,
sometimes that's also self-love. Just by the way.
It's a different one. No, I took time to the dragon cave. I took time to actually be here at the house I'm house sitting and cuddle up with the dogs. I actually took a nap on Saturday, and I'm not a big napper. And the dogs, I have 2 chihuahuas I'm watching right now and a cat. By the way, the cat weighs more than both the chihuahuas combined. Wow. So, yeah. So the cat curls up on my chest, and the dogs go under the blanket. Now, the girl who owns the house, I called her when I woke up, and she called me to be like, hey, can I hear the puppies' voices? And I'm like, yes. I'm like, here, guys, come here. And I'm talking to the dogs and all this. And I told her about the nap. And she's like, wait. You're telling me that you literally curled up with both dogs and the cat. And I'm like, yeah, why? She's like, they never cuddle each other. And I'm like, wait, like the dogs and the cats or the dogs and the dogs? And she's like, the cat hates the one dog. Like literally the dog just doesn't sit still. It's always driving her nuts. She's like, I can't believe you got all three of them to cuddle you. I'm like, oh, we were out. Like this was the best nap I've been in years. Like I was like, I woke up, I had drool going around my face. It was the most heavenly nap I've ever taken. And truth be told,
I'm also not a big nap person, but Sundays are the best nap times.
Yes, but I agree with you. Sundays are great for naps. And what day do you think is the best day for naps? Write that in the comments, guys. Let us know what day you prefer a nap. And if somebody writes every day, I'm gonna love you. But like,
I love it.
And the energy is that felt within you. Animals are great for mental health and teach us about self-care. Yes, and Aimee, I 100% agree. It was so interesting to me because this cat easily Sundays. Oh man, Sundays.
Me and Sherry, same WhatsApp group.
See, the reason I don't say Sundays is I use Sundays to, I'm a football fan. I love my Browns. We won yesterday. And cheer. Come on, Ilse. The Browns won.
Ah, the Browns won. Woo!
I love it. So I watched the Browns game yesterday.
I'm a Browns fan now.
I'm going to make you sign up to be the Browns backers bar in South Africa. All right? There is one, but it was far from you. We're going to need another one, and you're going to be the Browns backers. We found one. But I like napping on Saturday. Why are Saturday naps my favorite? Because I can literally go out with my friends still. I can go to a drive-in movie. We could do a million different things. And I'm not worried about staying up too late. Where Sunday, if I can't sleep, I'm getting more anxious for Monday. I'm picturing in my head that I'm going to be tired for the show. And then I'm sitting there.
That's why I don't take naps. They're the best days for naps, but I have that same problem. I can't sleep on the Sunday night then. So I rather go to bed earlier when I'm tired, like 7 or maybe 8 o'clock, and then see if that doesn't work better. Because you're always tired. You need a nap after the weekend.
I have to be honest. I'm going to ask Aimee that. That's going to be the first question. Aimee, what day of the week is best to take a nap? You know?
And how many naps per week? So if it's a necessity, I'll work it in. I don't mind. I
will put blackouts on my window. I will
If we go nap October and we have to nap every day, I'm in. Nap October.
So after lunch, any day. She answers. That's a beautiful answer. But my question would be then, is there a time limit for the nap? Because you don't want to end up in like that deep REM cycle and then have to wake up and dive right back into work or being busy. So for me, is it a 20-minute nap or is it like an hour-long nap with a jog afterwards? Ilse and I
then a nap.
But then you're getting your adrenaline up to take a nap? Maybe. No more than an hour. Boom. Sherry says no more than an hour. That means that's so. All right, Ilse. For me, 15 minutes is a sweet spot. So what if I set the alarm for 30 minutes? Sweet spot. If I set the alarm for 30 minutes, because it might take me 15 minutes to calm my mind down, would that be? Or turn everything off. Turn all electronics off. Eat lunch by yourself. Totally let go, get in a good mindset, and then turn around and you take a nap for 15 minutes after lunch. You're refueling your body and resetting your brain. I think we're going to change the world with this. Nap time.
Yes, nap time. We're going to implement nap time every day after lunch.
Nap time November.
Nap time November. We're gonna nap every, and then we're gonna see how we feel at the end of November napping every day. I love my job. Fuck.
I was just like,
for November, I need to take afternoon naps.
Hey, can you come over for a doctor's appointment at say 12:30? Sorry, that's my nap time. But when you take a nap, do you like to go somewhere? Like, I don't like to take a nap in my own bed. As weird as that sounds, I fall asleep on a couch. I'll fall asleep in a recliner. I'll fall asleep cuddling the pets on the floor. When you take a nap, is there a spot that you like, or do you just go right back to the bed and crash?
I can nap anyway, but I don't like napping because I'm not a very friendly person when I wake up, because I want to sleep and I want my body to wake up by itself. That's one thing that I can't change. I am a grumpy person when somebody wakes me up, be it from a nap or be it early in the morning, and they don't do it nicely. I'm a
Really?
morning person. If I wake up by myself, I'm so happy. But I woke up by myself. But if I get woken up like trying to fall asleep, or fell asleep on the couch and somebody like touches me 15 minutes into it, I want to sleep in my body. So that's why my naps are more usually about an hour and a half, 2 hours. That's why I can't do Sunday naps, because I
Yeah.
don't set alarms. I just like, let's sleep until we're not tired anymore. We'll deal
Which
with
is
the crap later.
we'll deal with the crap later. When your mind starts running, though, because like sometimes we want to take a nap, and it's like your mind starts running, and that's where the nap gets ruined, because like I can't get it back to calm. I can't. So for me, it's been the fact that I took a nap was fun. It was ironic by itself. It was supposed to rain all day yesterday, so I planned to work from my computer all day yesterday, and then it didn't really rain. It was cloudy, but it didn't rain all day, like maybe 20 minutes, and that's it. So what I did was I actually took advantage of the day, and for self-love, I honestly just went for a drive. I went through the park, and I went right by the water and just enjoyed it.
Nice.
I had a phone call with my parents and caught up with my mom and dad, because I haven't seen them in a week. And then from there, I needed to take some time for me and call the people who are going to talk to me in a different way and say, Brandon, enough of being in your own head, enough of this. And it was what I needed. I came home and I started writing again, and I got out of my head. What did you guys do this weekend? What did everybody do this weekend? Ilse, what did you do this weekend ever? Oh, dang, that's a good look. I'm just going to be quiet. Go ahead.
We had Thanksgiving yesterday. So our Thanksgiving in our spiritual community was on the new moon. It fell. So we had a new moon ritual with our giving thanks. So I got to say thanks to all the opportunities, and they actually, it was very powerful. You could feel the energy and everything. And then Inez asked me, is there something that you want to say? And I usually don't say anything. I'll just say something. And I just said, I am just grateful for all the people that I've gained in my life and all the people I've lost in my life as well, because those are sometimes the most important ones, is the ones that we do not need in our lives, that do not speak to you the way that you want to be spoken to, do not uplift and empower you due to personal reasons or that. So it's hard cutting those people off. So I got to say thanks to my spiritual people in my life, the people on the channel, and all the opportunities that's just popping up everywhere. I have this thing that I'm trying. I do not chase, I attract, and I've stopped chasing opportunities and just creating connections, and the opportunities are presenting themselves. So a lot of things that I could be grateful for in the new cycle starting, all the seeds and networking and work that I've done, seeing that actually just starting it was a very powerful day. And then I went on the train for the first time, the Gau train. So in 2010, yes, in 2010, they built the Gau train system for the Rugby World Cup. So from Pretoria right past us up into the East Rand. So it's quite a bit. But if you go with the train, I think it's like 30 minutes from there. But if you go with the car, it's the furthest point's about an hour and a half. So it's my first time on this train. So it's actually so easy to manage it, because it just goes, it stops at the same place the whole time. So if you're on the wrong train, you just get off onto the next one. But now the train is like, it's got seats that look at each other like face each other.
Yeah.
Yes, and then they've got seats that are just one-sided, and then they've got a couple that face each other, because this train goes forward and backwards. And I didn't know which side we were going, and I chose the chair where I sat facing in front of me, and then the train went backwards. So now it's the first time on this train you can't see, so I'm at the window, and this whole train, the whole coach, it goes like this on the train thing. So it goes, but it like feels subtle. But every time it gets to a pole, it like makes a big swing like this. So now I'm sitting, every time the pole comes by, this thing starts swinging, and it's like it connects each other here in the corner of my eye. I was so freaked out when I got back home. I'm like, I'm not sitting there again. Let's not do that. We sit and we just look forward, because this backwards and that thing, oh
my gosh.
And then yesterday I just came home.
I get motion sickness when it goes backwards like that. Like it's like everything's like.
But it's like a roller coaster. It's like a roller coaster. That's what it feels.
But a long roller coaster.
It goes very fast. It goes very fast.
Yeah.
I wanted to say another thing about it. And it's actually so easy to use it, and it's so safe, because I was scared in the beginning to use it because I'm not used to it. In South Africa, the crime is very high. You can't just walk anywhere. You literally, if you guys don't believe me, go Google. There's murders and rapes on a daily basis.
If you don't believe me, just Google it.
You know, but
it's world-renowned news.
So it's very dangerous for any woman or any person, for that matter, to be in areas where it's not safe. And you never know where that is. And the trains that we know, that we grew up with, they are not safe for people to go on. The normal train. So this train, I was actually very surprised. It is so safe to go on. So, and it goes, the station is almost by my house, and it goes to the East Rand, where I go there, and then it goes to Pretoria. And it's not even that much money. So I'm not even worried about not having a car anymore, because I can Uber to the station. It's like 20 Rand to Uber, 50 Rand to Uber to the station, and 40 Rand for your train ticket. So it's like $10. Not even to go on the train. Exactly. So why pay 5,000 Rand for a car a month, and then you have to put petrol in, and you're not even driving every day. You're only driving it when you go somewhere. And I don't drive to work. I drive to my meetings that I have with the artist and that type of thing. But it's always at a mall somewhere, and this is close to a mall. So I just realized that you don't actually need a car. You make a way if you want to.
Yeah, there's public transportation's right there. It's the safety of it that we want to keep. Are you feeling safer now that you've done this? You feel comfortable that you can do this more? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm very excited now. I'm sorted. I can get to my daughter, and I can get to my other appointments. So now I'm okay. Now we're just winging it.
So Aimee said, I meditate after lunch instead of a nap, or just bask in the feeling of appreciation. I think that's a great thing. And then Aimee says, oh yeah, I love that mantra, Ilse. I don't chase, I attract. I think that's 100%. Spent some time with my sister and her husband, Sherry said. On Saturday, back there on Sunday, I'm helping my sister who broke her leg. She dropped me off from the hospital while her hubby goes to France this week for work. What? That is awesome. I want to go to France. Just for France. Then did you see this? So it is a hammock chair that you need to put in your house. So you have a hammock in your house, right?
I want one.
Yeah. I could get rid of my bed and sleep in a hammock all the time. Hammocks are so comfy to me. I don't know what it is about them. They are just
hammock and palm trees, yes.
Hammock and palm trees.
Hammocks and palm trees. That's why you like it.
I do. Because it's calming.
Okay, so I put a poll. I don't know. Guys, you must go check on the LinkedIn page. There's so many polls. I just ask people random questions that it's got to do with the episode and everything. And I put one on there that of today that I would like everybody to go and answer. But I actually want to ask you. You've asked me a bunch of questions, so I want to ask you: are you a people pleaser?
Me?
Yes, I asked it to everybody. do you feel that you are a people pleaser?
Yeah.
And where do you draw the line of being a people pleaser? Big woofer. Hello. Oh,
Look at that dog. Oh
dog.
my, that dog is a
Wow.
big woofer. That
That's a
dog,
puppy.
like, yeah, it's not.
Puppy.
That dog is. That dog is like big. That dog's bark is big. That is a big woofer. You could hear it like woof. Like I hear that bark in that one. That's an awesome one. Nice to meet you, big woofer. I love it.
You don't have to answer me if you don't want. Just go answer on the poll. I want to see how many people are out there that really know that they put other people's opinions and happiness before their own. Because ultimately, I think that's what it means. Me,
but I'll admit I am.
I used to be a people
I am a
pleaser. I used to be one of the biggest people pleasers. Now I am like all gangster. It's like
you're all
gangster.
I'm all gangster now.
All gangster, baby.
I love it.
I don't please anybody but myself. Okay, that does not sound very X-rated. Sorry, that's not what I meant.
Well, it sounds more intimidating. Oh, I'm the OG. I'm the original gangster. That's what they call me back in the day. Nobody takes. I'm not a people pleaser anymore. I am a people pleaser, but that's just. I see pain in people, everybody. And that's my biggest weakness is I hear, I see, and I know what people like. I see their anxiety and their pain on them, and it just gets. I hate seeing people hurt. I hate seeing people sad. I know how much that hurts. I know how much that sucks. I don't want people to be there. So when it's someone that I appreciate or someone that I felt has benefited my life in any way, I try to be there for them. Sometimes I'm over there though. No. Sometimes I just over care because I'm giving too much of myself. And the thing I've been working on why I'm doing Sober October is instead of people pleasing, I want to Brandon please. I want to be able to make myself feel so comfortable that I'm not nervous about anything. I want to be able to have that confidence that I know is deep down inside of me with believing in myself. I want to be a big woofer, and people pleasing has always been a weakness of mine, but that's it. It's something that I've looked deep into in my therapy lately and what's been going on. So it's just part of me, my growth process. And I'm grateful for the challenges I've gone through because they've really pushed me to make me have to look deeper inside myself. Without me taking the time to do that, though, and being the people pleaser I was or am, I wouldn't be able to connect like I do with others. I wouldn't be able to feel the way I do, how to help others.
You would still, because I still help people and I still feel people's pain and I still help people, but not at my own expense.
Mm-hmm.
You see, so that's where and the reason I asked you this question is I saw on Aimee's, I think it was on her page or Instagram or something where she asked the question, are you a people pleaser? So I made the poll about that as well, because I think a lot of people need help with that, setting boundaries by still helping people and still being there for the community, but not at your own expense.
And see, that's the thing. Why, when people set boundaries, especially people who are known to be people pleasers, myself, when I set a boundary, it doesn't seem, I piss people off when I set a boundary because all of a sudden they can't. Yeah. And I hate, the reason I have trouble with boundaries is when I set them as a kid, my parents would break them because I was the kid and I needed to obey them. And then as I became older, that became a people pleaser thing. And then from being a people pleaser all the way through till I'm an adult, it hits a point where you're just literally like, I want to make others happy because at least I will make them happy if I can't make myself happy, is what I told myself. And that's not true.
So I want to ask you a question. They only got angry with you when you did something that they didn't like. It wasn't, okay, you made a choice for you. We respect the choice that you made for you because that is why you made the choice. It wasn't what I expected you to do. And then that makes you change your mind and do something that you don't really want to do. And you're not going to put your heart in to make somebody else happy. But in that time, you are adding to your anxiety and you are adding to the pressure of keeping everybody else happy and not looking after yourself. And the point is, when this attacks your physical body, the soul crush that you get when people do that to you, because that is what it is, and it affects your body, and you get ill, or you get depressed, or that. I mean, you sit with that alone, because then you're lonely, then nobody's there, and you have to sit with that thoughts. So why not make your thoughts easier to sit with and not worry about the other people's thoughts? Because it doesn't make you a bad person.
No, it doesn't.
No,
it doesn't.
setting
It doesn't.
boundaries
But
for yourself does not make you a bad person.
it does not. It has to be done in a respectful manner still. And you have to respect other people's boundaries too. And I think the minute you start setting your own boundaries, that's when other people start to say, well, I need boundaries and stuff like that. Because like I've done this with so many people lately. Like I will not let people yell at me. I will not let people talk down to me. And I've spent so many years letting others do that. And I've been in very high up leadership roles where all of a sudden, like if the president of the company wants to yell because something's not right, I'm one of the people getting yelled at because I'm one of the managers. And there's a point where you start to you take those on. And I've had a hard time letting them go. So for me, I want to be able to be that example. I want to help people see that while setting boundaries, while doing a sober October, while being friends with someone of the opposite sex, like Ilse and I, is something that really does benefit all of us. Like, I don't need to talk to Ilse as a co-host and be like, hey, baby, after the show. I don't hit on Ilse in any way because I want Ilse to come and bring her best self. But I also know that for me, I want to be able to put myself out here in a way that I show that positivity. And I think a lot of men, I'm using men as my example because men have extreme mental health issues, just like women. And I think with men's mental health, we look for that coping through sexual attraction, through physicalness, through all these other things. And then that becomes, it's almost like a weighted blanket. Is that person's emotions and who they are becomes that weight on you. It becomes that thing of being able to feel comfort instead of actually being able to feel growth. And I'm trying to remove all those blankets and not be sweating underneath it all right now and be able to step out into Brandon. And I think there's so many of us out there, from Sherry McQueen, Brian Tracy, the Big Woofer. I just like that name so much. Like, I feel like when we see that, we should bark, like, because that's a big dog. But like, big
I don't want to bark. Me and my daughters, we've got this thing that when we drive in the car or we just do something amazing, we howl like wolves. But I do it with my friend as well. So we go like, oh, my voice just went. Can you hear that? So then we all do that.
Ilse, are you going through puberty again? I remember when my voice cracked as a kid. I always embarrassed. I was like,
my voice still cracks till today. I'm still in puberty. It's never gone away. It's just getting more and more huskier and huskier. And I actually got a compliment. The one of the guys from the production company said to me on Saturday, he says, "You've got a voice for a radio." And I'm like, "You're on a face as well."
Yes.
That's not what I mean. But I was like, taken back a bit, because that has been one of the most difficult things for me to embrace, was hearing my own voice and falling in love with my own voice and the things that I have to say, because it means something. My voice means something.
Do you ever go listen to our stuff and then I hate the sound of my voice. I think I'm annoying.
I do it because I don't want to think that. I don't want to think that. I want to get used to it. So that's why I watch it, because I sound what I sound like. There's nothing I can do about it.
I can change how I sound. See, I sound like this. Yo, peeps, how you doing, Miss Mandy?
Yo.
It's Mandy Atterbury. Sorry, Mandy, I'm
Hey,
not picking on you.
Mandy.
I'm changing what my voice sounds like for Ilse. CK says love. She also said, big woofer, I was born with a speech impediment. I actually sound like a chihuahua. I walked into that.
I'm excited about my voice, and I think there's a lot of people that it affects is their voices, the way they sound. I mean, do you ever listen to a voice note that you leave for somebody?
Yes.
Then you listen to it, you're like, I do not sound like that. So I had to listen to it to get used to it. And I actually learned that with the musicians because they listen to their own music to hear what it sounds like. So you need to embrace what you sound like, your voice.
Do you know where I think I sound
you
good?
want to say. Huh?
Where I enjoy the sound of my voice, and that doesn't mean I enjoy it like that. Like, it's where I feel like I hear myself is when I'm actually presenting. And what I mean by that is, like, I'm up on stage, I'm teaching, I'm doing something, whatever. And that is where I feel when I hear my voice there, I'm not listening to the voice, I'm listening to the words I choose. Here, I watch this, and because I know this is me trying to be me being the example I want to be, I judge myself in these very harsh, critical eyes, and it's not healthy. Bob Seymour made a great comment. Most men have been brainwashed into believing that showing emotions is a sign of weakness, when in fact it is a sign of strength. He's 100% right.
Bob is on the money there. He's on the money.
True. Stop belittling yourself, Brandon. See, CK is on me, and she is. I gave CK permission to be hard on me because I'm not hard. I'm too hard on myself, and that's the thing. I tell myself that it's. I don't know why, deep down inside, ingrained inside myself, I literally tell myself I like negative things all the time. Like what?
No, like Shiraz. Is it Shiraz Babu? Shiraz? Is it
Shiraz Babu? Shiraz Babu.
When he did the shifting as well, and he said that somewhere along the line you said something and someone used it against you.
Yes.
Like for me, and that is why you also feel like that. It's because when you said something, you were never heard. You were never heard that what you said meant something, and it got so deep that it affected the way you feel about your voice. It affected the way you pronounce words, the way, because you start to doubt in everything when you say something and people don't hear or see you or acknowledge that you hear or there or whatever. So I think that is why we feel that way. So that's why I think it's a good thing that you watch the show, but don't watch the show to watch yourself. Watch the show to listen, but to the advice and the help you are giving people. And it will change. Don't listen to your voice. Put it on chipmunk if you don't want to listen to your voice, but listen to the message that you give people every day, because that is the most important. Don't make me come over there, Brandon, and slap the silly out of you for doing that to yourself. You go, Mandy.
Thank you, Mandy. Bob says his eyes fill with tears at the raising of the flag, the playing of taps, and seeing someone suffer needlessly. And that's a very big thing. Oh, by the way, Miss Aimee, let us know if you have the link. I thought I saw your email was there and you got the link already, but if you don't, I want to make sure I get it over to you right away because you're on in about 10 minutes and we're excited to have you. Ilse will be reading your bio in the next 5 minutes. So I agree. But what fills you up with tears? What fills you up with tears, Ilse? Like,
what fills me up with tears if I hear
happy tears. Happy tears.
Oh,
Let's switch that.
Tears.
I want happy tears.
Happy tears. Happy tears. It makes me happy when I see I can speak to someone and they take away, especially if I speak to my friends that are in low places, and that makes me happy. It makes me happy when I can see that they start believing in themselves. My kids give me happy tears when they just say the silliest things and stuff. And then my achievements give me happy tears. That is what gives me happy tears. And people that abuse other people and hurt other people give me sad tears. That just breaks me.
Good morning,
hey,
Brit. And then no one should be suffering in this day and age. The thing is, I think suffering. All right, so let's say this earth. There's a heaven, there's a hell, there's all these things, but we're on earth. So that means our choices, are we looking upwards or are we looking downwards? And I have this tendency to look down, and that's why I've been building up and getting out of this negative self-talk and all these things. And when I see my accomplishments, I have to praise myself for those. And in the back of my head, I'm always telling myself, oh, you're being cocky. And then I'm like, no, stop that. Be proud of yourself and the things you've gone through. And those are the things where when we're looking up or we're looking down, those are the times that when you look up, you're always going to have something that's trying to lower your vibration. So look inwards. Take that time to look in, and you have to be able to do that. What did you do this Friday? This awesome thing you did this Friday, Miss Mandy. But go ahead, Ilse. You were about to say something too.
I wanted to ask you something that can you think back of any time where somebody told you that you're cocky when you celebrated a win or something, that you like really was so impressed with yourself and you just went out and somebody said to you, you're just being cocky?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what happens.
Do you want now?
Their limitations onto you. Why? Because they're jealous. Because they don't celebrate themselves, and then they don't allow other people to celebrate them. So celebrate yourself every day. I do happy dances if I
show me a happy dance.
If I do, okay, I have to.
I love that you're doing it. I love it. I
like doing the happy dance. Ooh, I walked into the roof. There's no space. I happy dance there in the kitchen usually, not in my office.
Tomorrow morning.
And I jump around and I go insane. I push the dopamine up because I know what I've been through to create what I am creating right now. And I know how many dark people I had to cut out of my life and how many dark things I had to go through. So I don't wait for people to be proud of me anymore. I am proud of me first and foremost. And if the other people aren't proud of me, then they can leave it. It's been a hard thing for me. It's hard when you do all these things and you do not have somebody to tell you, listen, yeah, you're doing good. And then that's when it gets lonely because you don't have that somebody.
Look, so I want to point something out here, and I'm doing this because I really want to take a screenshot of this because this is phenomenally said. You should only look down when helping someone back up, and then I look down to clean the crud off my boots. I look up to see the directions of which to travel. And I think that those two are amazing. And Mandy, you're not gloating. You're proud of who you are and what you've done. I think that's what you sent me, and I haven't even I opened it, and an email came in that I had to answer. So I need to listen to it because I want to hear you holding a long ass note. All right, I want to hear this, so I will be listening. Send it to us so we can listen.
You're not gloating. I mean, the first thing I did was tell you guys of what I achieved this weekend. And it's all through connections and just knowing what I want and using my connections and everything. But if I'm not proud of myself, then what am I doing it for, Mandy? You need to be proud of yourself. We're also proud of you.
I am proud of you. Jaybird, I am proud of you too. These comments are perfect like today, guys. Looking inwards, as CK says, and that's 100%. You need to take the time to look inwards. And I do that every morning lately. And that's what this October is about. So for everybody here, if you're trying to find the best out of yourself, not if. You're here because you're trying to find the best out of yourself. You're trying to rebuild yourself, and you see that the people out front, like Ilse and I, are just humans. We are people just like you, and all we want to do is try to help others, and that's what everybody here does. So all we want to do is be able to connect that and build up. So if you're doing October, while we're doing October, when you look inside yourselves, I want you to take that moment to look deep inside and look and see if you're actually proud of yourself. And don't think you're gloating. Don't think you're cocky. Don't down talk yourself, but be proud of who you are. And if you need to, send Ilse and I that message. Send us an email at javadelight@gmail.com. We will open that up, look deep inside, and look at each other and tell each other, I'm so proud of and what they did. Because if you need that uplifting thing, nobody's going to be able to do that if you can't do it for yourself. And I say that from experience and want to be able to provide that to people. Begin to look inward without replacing all the negatives that have been used to bash you by others or your own inner voice. It's to look inward without replaying those. Look inward. Humans are just tall dogs. And actually...
I like that. Humans are just bad, just tall dogs. Some of them are bad dogs, but dogs aren't bad.
Not all dogs are good. Not all dogs. Some dogs, some dogs just
don't you think it's because how they're raised? I mean, because they're just animals.
At the same point, you'd say the same thing about people.
Yeah, but okay, but animals don't talk and animals don't treat you like shit. Animals treat you like shit when you treat them like shit.
I don't disagree.
Humans, you can treat them nicely and then they turn around and bite you on the ass. And then they were supposedly good humans. I'm not saying everybody, so that's why I said poor dogs. Dogs don't just go out and bite you. You give them a reason to bite you.
Nah, I'm a big cat.
I'm with you there, man.
I'm a panda. I'm an iguana. I'm a turtle. I'm a turtle.
Turtle power.
So I went out for breakfast by myself yesterday, and I went to one of my favorite breakfast places. And that's something I've done before, but this was like, I really was excited to go have breakfast by myself and just sit at the bar and all that, and like breakfast bar. And we have Aimee in the back. I hope everybody's getting excited. Because she has this smile on her face that is already going to light up the room. Like, this is going to be this is a way to start a Monday. I know, me too. But I went out to breakfast and I'm sitting there and I ended up sitting with a vet. He was sitting by himself. I was sitting by myself. I said, "Can I talk with you?" And he was like, "Yeah." So him and I start talking. Now, I'm in Cleveland. You'd think we'd talk Browns. We didn't talk any sports. All we talked about is how today's society has like all these negative things. And it's like, it feels like everywhere you go, you can't have a conversation without it being negative. And he led that conversation. By the end of it, him and I are both talking about how hard it is to look deep inside yourself, but it's essential. And he is a veteran for the Marines. And he was telling me how in the Marines, you don't have this mindset of, oh, it's hard, oh, it's easy. It's you have to know you're going to get through this. You have to. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. And human, try. It's the ultimate adventure. But like, being able to have this conversation with this gentleman was the highlight of my weekend because Dave was his name. And Dave and I got to sit there and he just felt so at ease telling me about who he is. And I'm a stranger. And the struggles he's been through, but then how well he is. And he ended it in such a positive way with saying how he has 2 great grandkids. His grandkids are very influential in his life. And while his wife passed away a few years ago, he literally is so happy he gets to be there for his kids. And I sat there, and while an hour-long conversation went like up and down, at the end of it, this man ended it in such a positive note that as a stranger, it made me honored that he would feel comfortable enough to talk to me, but it made me proud to know he knew to end it with such a positive thing. It made me think of myself, and do I do that? Now, Ilse, do you have Miss Aimee's bio ready?
I do. We are interviewing our special guest, Aimee Carlson. Aimee has been a life coach part-time for 20 years alongside her career in education and health promotion. She recently decided to go full on with her business, and that is how She Force Mindset Coach was created. Can I just say I'm loving that name?
Yeah.
Huh? She Force. It's women force. It just goes. It goes like peanut butter and jelly.
Yes. I love it. So we will have is that all of her bio? I'm sorry, I didn't.
Yes.
I thought so. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in 1 minute after a word from our sponsor. I'm sorry you have to see my face all the time.
That's such a pretty face.
My name is Brandon, and over the past year, the Delay Cafe team and I traveled across the U.S. researching this rapidly growing industry of CBD products. What we have found throughout the industry were products that were inconsistent in dosage and used ingredients that weren't even lab tested. Products with chalky textures, bitter aftertaste, and worst of all, confusion among the CBD consumers. That's why we created Delight Cafe. A 15 milligram, lab-tested, all-natural, water-soluble hemp CBD powder pack. It's odorless, colorless, and tasteless. Add it to your favorite drink of choice, wherever, whenever, on the go. Quickly find your calm, your balance, and your delight when you need it most.
And we're back with Miss Aimee. Aimee, it is such an honor to have you here today. You have been in the comments playing and just bringing a light of sunshine in our day. What a way to start a Monday. Thank you for being with us today.
Hey, thanks for having me. I have to say, too, that you guys have created such a great space. Like being with you this morning, even before I got on here, I thought that's what this is all about. You know, that's what I do with coaching. But you guys have really nailed it with creating that container to encourage growth. So bravo.
It was COVID. It hit everybody worldwide. And when you wake up every morning and everything is just the first thing out of everybody, from if you go on Facebook or social media to the news, it's negative. And I got tired of that, and our team got tired of it, and we looked each other in the eyes and said, we need to do more. We need to be out here. We need to find the people. Because I was having a conversation yesterday with somebody, and we were saying how the news can have an hour of negativity thrown at you, and they'll throw one positive thing in the middle, and that's it. And it's like, how much of us are doing that with our life? Because that's what we're seeing from so many areas. And there's more people out there wanting to do good, that actually have a good heart, than people that are just angry all the time. And so for us, it's let's find those people and build a community of people that want to make this world a better place. So thank you for being one of those with us.
Well, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to promote this with all my audience as well.
So, all right. Ilse's already dove in. She's already expressed how much she loves what you're doing. The She Force. I love it. Talk to us about this. How did this come about? And tell us what you've been doing so far. How's it going?
Cool. Well, the name came about, you know, I'm a big nature lover. So that's kind of what was behind like the force part of it, like the forces of nature. And
I love it.
I use a lot of analogies like with water. And when I'm coaching, like we talk about, you know, where you're at in the river. And so it just made sense. And the other part of it was just like to remind me to step into my own, like to be my own she force, you know, and everybody can put their word in front of force, whatever works for them. But so part of it was a personal reminder to myself too. And what's been going on for me since COVID, I knew that I needed to get back into life coaching more with more intention, not just like a little bit here and there. And so COVID hit, and I thought, you know, this is crazy of me to actually like leave a steady paycheck, but I could not ignore that calling that I needed to get back into this. And so I did. I left my regular job, and you know how you guys were talking earlier about sometimes you do things and people call you crazy. Well, when you're following your heart, I mean, I don't think you're crazy. So, so I stepped into it, and then I realized, wow, I don't have a business plan. The whole online space was new to me because I'd been getting clients through things I did in the community. And so it was people that could get to know me and trust me that way. And I had no idea what to do in the online space. So then I took on another job because I knew I wasn't ready to start my own. And as you said, I've got background in teaching. So with COVID and what's going on in schools, they needed more teachers. So I took on a long-term sub job. And that was great. It really helped me it cemented some of the things that I knew worked in life coaching. And I got to do those with high school kids. I was in an art class, and it was just like this. It was creating a container where people felt safe. It really didn't matter what subject matter. It was just creating a safe space. And but by the end of that long-term sub job, I was ready. I was ready to jump in. I had more of a plan. And so it's been really accelerated learning for me the last few months.
That is so amazing. I think the COVID had kickstarted everybody's little voice to tell them where to go and what jobs to leave and what people to leave and everything. So what I do is on LinkedIn, I usually on a Monday or on that day make a poll that has got to do with the guest that we've got on. And I actually saw on your page, and I don't know if you saw on LinkedIn, I made a post there to ask people if they are people pleasers, because I see that a lot. And I don't think a lot of people know how to deal with that, because their belief systems have been so ingrained that if you do not please your elders, that something will happen to you. What advice do you have for someone? What coaching skills can you maybe help someone with when they struggle with that?
Yeah. Well, the discussion that you guys were having earlier was just great around this topic. And first of all, just kind of recognizing that don't beat yourself up about it, because really it's societal. It's an expectation, I think, that most of us grow up with. And you learn pretty early on, like what upsets your parents. And then, and that's kind of where it all usually begins. And then, we go on to other things, schools and jobs, and we want to belong. We all have that sense of belonging. And so that's really where people pleasing comes from. So try not to beat yourself up about it. But when you recognize it happening in your life, what you can do. So I heard this expression, you guys were talking about setting boundaries, and that feels like just those words, right? Feel kind of hard and heavy.
Yeah.
And people get defensive too when somebody says I'm setting boundaries. So right there, we kind of set ourselves up for a little failure. So one of the ways that I think about it, or that I teach about it, is just learning to own your edges. So like, even if, drawing an outline around yourself, okay, like this is where I start and end, and this is where somebody else starts and end. And you can have interactions, but that doesn't mean that you are, that they are like, I'm thinking about like watercolors, that their color is bleeding into you. You can still be who you are.
Yeah.
And just own that. So just that reference point for me has been helpful. And in teaching that, like, just learn to own your edges. And the first part of that is getting clear on who you are. So as people pleasers, we really, have not been taught how to, well, who am I? What do I believe? What are my core beliefs? What guides my life? So first of all, you just have to get clear on that. Spend a little time figuring out what your main values are. And I even had to post them, like, so I didn't keep forgetting and let other people lead me. Okay, like a couple of my top values are creativity and curiosity. But yeah, go ahead. You were going to say something, Brandon.
I like the analogy, excuse me, as an art teacher, like a substitute art teacher. Were you an art teacher before?
Yeah.
Just curious.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Art and health.
Oh, this is going to be fun then. You just made this question twist. So I love the idea of the art question. I think of my 9-year-old niece, and a couple years ago, she did that body drawing thing, and then you draw inside of it and all that. And as adults, we forget that we did these things. And I loved how you said the watercolor. And I picture people just splashing their paintbrush like little kids would do all over everything and everyone, and it gets everywhere. Knowing yourself helps you keep it away from not getting that on you. That's what the boundary is there for. That protective layer. I use faith on this a lot. I say, because whether you're Christian, Baptist, I don't care if you're Muslim, I want you to just know your faith. But having that protective layer through faith and knowing that that's going to protect you, and that's what the boundary is built on, is where I've been going a lot in my life. Building into yourself is more than just showing up and doing things. It's actually looking deep inside and taking those moments when you took the time to trace yourself, as you said. How hard or how difficult was that to actually turn around and see all the other watercolors of people on you and then start restructuring that?
Yeah. Well, like you guys referenced before, anytime you're going through personal growth, which really is always, there's just uncomfortable, little uncomfortable moments. And it's not unlike working out, it's not always comfortable. But once I was able to step back though, and I took the time to say, kind of answer that question, who am I, and are there it doesn't have to get super complex, but, what are some words that describe me and my values? And what are a couple of verbs that I really resonate with? And for me, it's like empowering and inspiring. And those can help be drivers. And, but when I was able to step back and then see kind of what I'd put in that outline, of who I was, it really helped me stand up a little taller. And, it also gave me a filter. So then I could filter things through and see what was a fit or a match for me and what wasn't. And it helped me make decisions better. I think when we're people pleasers, it's hard to make decisions too, because you're always weighing like, is this going to hurt somebody? And oh my gosh, is this the right thing? And you're always second guessing yourself. Yeah. You guys find that? Back in the day? Yeah.
We actually mute so that way neither of us interrupt you, and it helps us know who's going to be ready with their next question, and we rotate. I actually was going to ask a question while I was like doing one. Ilse and I have like this, like, no, I got one more really quick, like toward each other. With that, what are some words that you give to yourself? Let's say you woke up, it's Monday morning, you go into the classroom, and Bobby is just a pain in the butt today, and you just want to push Bobby down the stairs, okay? Yeah. I'm just using Bobby as an example because I don't know why that name came in my head.
Yeah.
What self-words do you say about yourself? What uplifts you for Aimee to, like, how do you say these things to yourself, and what are some of the words you choose? And I'm asking as like a baseline for people, so that way people know, think like that and pick what your words are.
Cool. So first of all, before the words even start flowing, I've tried to train myself, it takes some time, but I've tried to train myself about breathing. So, focus on the inhale and the exhale, because if I'm not breathing very well, what's going to come next from my mind and my mouth are not going to be productive. So, which gives you that little pause. Okay, I'm going to inhale and exhale. And then, so, talking about self-talk, I read this once that we react to our own self-talk if it's better in second or third person. So instead of saying like, I'm going to handle this situation in my head, I'm going to open to more ideas and take this in better if I say, hey, Aimee, you got this. Because then I've got, I'm referencing myself by name or you. And so that's one of the things that I've learned, and it really works. So starting with that, and then, owning your edges again, like, hey, if you walk into a situation or somebody walks into your situation and they've got a lot going on, they've got a lot going on. That doesn't mean I have to go in and get right in the middle of it. I can just hold the space and come over calmly. And it just kind of, sometimes it can diffuse right there. and also know when it's time to just back away and let somebody kind of
Fade
go
out.
through there. Yeah.
I read on your Facebook page you've got a technique that you use, a meta technique. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah. So what I found over the years with coaching and like what really hit me. So I've been into personal growth forever. I think like I've always been like a seeker. And so I had all this information. I had all of this great stuff going on up here, stuff I knew, not all that I like was living, but I knew it. It hadn't all downloaded. But the biggest gap for me was recognizing in myself and then seeing it over and over with clients is this feeling of like shortage or scarcity or lack. Another word that was always coming up was like wasting. I don't want to waste time. I don't want to waste money. I don't want to waste energy. And so that was all part of this mindset of scarcity. And when we operate from that place, like just like the hierarchy pyramid,
Yep.
if we're operating from a place of lack, it's pretty hard to get to that place of self-actualization. So that's when I started to put this together of using mindset to work with our beliefs on time. That's the T part. Our beliefs about money and abundance in general, our beliefs about energy. And then the A, I either put in there alignment or sometimes appreciation. You know, the word love sometimes is too loaded for people to, they might next associate it with like, ooh, lost love or, you know. So, but I find the word appreciation is a lot more neutral and people, they know how that feels.
That's interesting because my question was going to be, can you explain meta and how you came up with it? And then you answered that before I even got a chance to ask. So I was like, oh, crap. So I'm going to switch that question. I have one that I was saving in the back. You were teaching high school art, okay? And we made the comment about how a lot of people aren't going back to work with COVID and a lot of people aren't doing a bunch of stuff. This is becoming almost like a revolution of new jobs. It's creating new companies. Small businesses are on the rise like crazy. People are stepping into what they know they're supposed to be doing and leaving jobs that they're getting burnt out on. They call this generation right now the Great Resignation. And I hear that and it almost makes me upset, like, because people aren't resigning. People don't quit jobs. They quit management. They quit somebody they don't believe in. And I think there's so many people out there that want to be able to do great things. As a teacher in high school right now, even a long-term sub, I'm calling you the teacher because you were a teacher there. You know, with that, are you seeing kids develop more of a knowledge of the stuff we're talking about today that the rest of us maybe thought we had to go get the job, we had to go get college, we had to do these things, and that's why we're resigning as we're stepping up for ourselves? Are you seeing this happen in high school a lot younger in that? And how has your teachings been able to be influenced into your classrooms?
Yeah, that's a great question. I am seeing that. So I see it firsthand because I've got 2 teenagers and they are living, you know, they're coming from a different place than they're seeing some different examples. And like YouTube is one of those things that they're able to see different ways of doing things, different ways of making a living. And I think that's fantastic. And my first day, you know, in the classroom so it would have been the first time that the kids had been back in the classroom since the school shut down. So then when I started in with that sub job, I just told each class that I had that day, I said, I really think that you guys are going to help the world in amazing ways. And you guys are coming up with solutions that are going to change things. And the students just kind of looked at me, and then some of them almost got like a little teary. And I said, I believe that. And so number one, I think we have to, I think speaking of containers, we have to create that container for our youth that's how we feel, and empower them to do that. And secondly, I think it's going to be the younger ones that are going to help teach us how to do that. And that's maybe the first time in history, when I think about that we might be going to people younger than us to really show us the way. And I don't know. I believe that that's going to heal a lot of things.
I also have a teenage son, and all he does is YouTube. And when I ask him what he wants to do when he grows up, he says, I want to be a professional gamer. And I said, well, then that's what you do. I'm not going to force you to do something that you don't want to do. And I also feel that in the schools these days, children are more open to their own talents and believe in their own talents more than the older generation, because the parents believe in the kids more than the older generation, because they were still like, you have to work and you have to do this. And our generation, because I'm almost 40 and I also left my job and just to do what I like, and I think our generation being an example for the teenagers, we're gonna help them like that, and they're gonna help us just use the internet to get I won't say rich, but to get your lines of income that you don't have to work, because they don't want to work and they're showing us how to do it. So I applaud everybody out there that leaves their jobs. Just don't go hungry, and don't tell your boss, I said you must leave your job. So I wrote this question down, and it's a thing that a lot of people struggle with, and that is like shifting their energy and mindset. How do you do that when you've had a mindset for so long that this is how things need to work? How do I shift that? What can I do to shift that energy and to make my life go in the direction that I want it to go?
Good. Well, the first thing is if just when we become aware that something isn't working, and then recognizing that is like that first step is actually huge. And I teach my clients, that's where you have to celebrate, like start celebrating right there. Because they say that if we don't celebrate something, even a small step, the brain doesn't recognize it as something positive. And so then it's pretty hard to build from there. So just becoming aware. And you guys were talking earlier about some things that you're shifting in your own lives right now. And so that awareness is huge. And then from there, just take a look at what it is that's coming up for you. So, for example, one of the things that really is top of mind with a lot of my clients is like, I don't have time. It's, I run out of time, and there's no time for this, and there's no time for self-care. And so that's a belief. And just starting to, one way to do it is, in psychology, they talk about reframing. So take that, I don't have time, and, here's the time that I have, and start to prioritize. Another thing to do is just, the more humor we can have with ourselves, the better. I think that's how change really comes. So if we can take that phrase that has been going around and around in our mind, almost like taking a tape or a CD out of a player, just look at it, examine it, and journal about it, or just to see how it's played out. And then you have that choice. Do I want it to keep going this way? And I think from there, the part where we encounter the most resistance is when we think that we have to make a quantum leap to the next place instead of a baby step. You have to take the smaller steps to gain momentum.
I love that. I really do. I was actually listening and I got distracted by your Instagram because I was checking out your puppy. How old is your puppy? I have to ask. I actually shared your website for everybody and I wanted to bring that up, but then I was like making sure I had your Instagram ready in the background and I'm like, oh, look at him.
I know. Luckily, she's sleeping right now on the dog bed right beside me. I thought, oh, I hope she's not all over the place during this, but she's almost 4 months old.
Oh, my gosh. Aimee,
And it's a boxer.
Yeah.
And then, so here's Aimee's Instagram, Facebook, same company. Here's Aimee's Instagram, guys. Do yourself a favor, give her a follow. As you saw, I clicked it. I've already gone through and liked a few things, but look at this face. Like, oh my goodness, I'm giving a like. I love this. It is so cute. What was her name? I'm sorry.
Mila.
And so you have a puppy. And the reason I bring this up is because my parents just got a puppy, and I tell people all the time how if you can't train a dog, you can't train yourself. And it's really is like that. If she's a puppy, she's going to run all around. A child is going to run all around. Are you teaching them to respect you and follow you, or are you teaching them to fear you and follow you? And a lot of dogs fear. And that's the thing that people don't realize in their training. With having a puppy, how are you taking the training and helping it with your coaching?
Ooh, that is good. That's a great question. Well, you kind of forget, about what it's like having a puppy once again. But I just had to like give myself grace about what my schedule looked like, all of a sudden, and but not get mad at the dog about that, just because she's got to go outside all the time. So that was a biggie for me, just rearranging my schedule. And then that helped me with coaching too. Like, just reminding people, you put a schedule together and then things, life shifts and you have to be okay with, flowing with it. And, so that was a biggie, but then it gets a little hard sometimes because she's got that cute face, as you saw. And so if she does something that's like she's not supposed to do, she tips her head.
And you and I both know there's people out there that have a cute face that use that to get out of getting into things, and they do things. Ilse, don't give me that look. I know how adorable I am. But like, in all seriousness, it's one of these things where the dogs are doing that. She gives you that cute look. Well, if she just peed on the carpet, that cute look doesn't have the same effect. Right. And if I just pee on the carpet, Ilse's not going to want the same effect with me. And I say that as a very joking manner for everybody, but think about it. How many times, and I mean this for the audience, how many times do we actually have things that like we're working on in ourselves? And then something comes in that pees on our carpet that we get distracted by and we get mad and we don't rebalance ourselves to be able to, you're not going to go beat the snout out of the dog because they peed on the carpet. You're going to have to teach them. And we forget that with other people. With the dog training, oh God, I would love you to take your dog into art class and have all the kids draw the dog. Like, just like that would be fun, or something with the dog. You know what I mean?
They would love that. Yeah. She's
young enough. It's perfect for socializing and everything. My ADD kicks in sometimes. Sorry about that.
Good idea.
Squirrel. Aimee, with this all going on, you have a puppy, you have teenagers, which that alone has to be stressful. How does Aimee self-love? Like, what would you do to be able to love yourself today that you wish others could do?
Well, that's one of the reasons I have dogs, is because they get me outside, they get me walking. They give that love, just like you were talking about, taking a nap, cuddling with the animals. They just do that, and they kind of help remind you to do that. So that was one little aside there. I was also just going to mention too, when you're talking about like training. So it's taking the time. Like if I let my puppy right now chew on a shoe, even though she can't do too much damage right now because her teeth aren't all that strong. Well, a couple months from now, she could do a lot of damage if I continued to let her do that. So, it's that technique of like replacing the shoe with something else. Here, you can chew on this, or putting the shoes out of her reach. You know what I mean? Like it just thinking ahead.
Still a puppy.
Yeah. To set the puppy up for success. And it's the same way we have to do with ourselves. We have to set ourselves up for success.
I like how you say that, and it actually flows into, if you can say it like that, into my next question. So you've got 2 teenagers. Is it boys or girls?
Boys.
Boys. Oh, even more difficult. How do you motivate your teen boys to go out and get what they want, and do you use your coaching techniques on them as well?
A little bit. So when they were younger, I could kind of like, slide some coaching things in there and they weren't aware of it. Well, now they're quite aware of. Are you trying to coach me, Mom? So now I kind of have to frame it like, hey, I was reading this book and there's this really interesting idea. Like, what do you think about that? So now we can engage more like my 2 adults talking, and maybe just plant a seed. So, and as teenagers, I had to prepare myself, just like setting the puppy up for success. I had to consciously say, like limiting beliefs, right? The one you always hear is like, oh, those teenage years. Oh, and before it ever happened, I thought, I don't want to think that way. I don't want it to be that way. So I don't want to set it up that way with my thoughts leading that it's going to just be terrible. So that was the first thing. And then like educating myself about what's going on with them. When something frustrating would happen, remembering like, where are they in brain development? Just like with the puppy, like where are they? What can I expect? And again, then how can I set them up for success? Because as a teacher, I had seen too many times of that judgment of, there's something wrong with you, instead of just acknowledging like, well, this is just, number one, you can't change how quickly your brain develops, right? And number 2, you don't know what's going on in a lot of kids' home lives. So, show them that you believe in them, and you'll be amazed at what they'll do. But if you just teach them that fixed mindset, like, you're doomed, nothing can change, you have no control over this.
Wouldn't you say that's pretty common nowadays, though? People like put that out there so freely, and it's become almost like a mindset. It's like it's COVID-19 hit, and we have all these stresses, and everybody can give you a horrible situation that happened. We've all been going through it, but it's so easy to find the negatives nowadays. And having teenage boys, like, I don't envy you. I just want to say that, like, on that one. Teenage boys are tough. I know how I was as a teenage boy, and that was not something. That's why I don't have kids now. I couldn't handle another me in this world. But with that, I love to be able to hear those things about these people and how you're connecting with your sons. Do you notice that your boys are able to connect with you in a different way than maybe other kids do with their parents, especially because COVID hit a lot of different areas, and being a life coach, you're able to provide your children, your boys, a way of growing strong during a tough time, a way of blocking out the watercolors during a tough time. Did you notice that they've been responding differently compared to others because of having that growth mindset with you growing up?
I think it has made a difference. And one way that it shows up is that, this is where their friends come. They know they can gather here. They know that, that it's fine to be here. So I take that as a good thing. And then also feeling like, okay, I don't think they really seem that stressed or that panicked about what's going on, because we've had a lot of discussions about, well, in a time of uncertainty, you got to check in with what you can control, and then really focus in on that. And all of that is just this inner stuff. That's all that we can control. So, in some ways, it's really been an opportunity for a lot of us, right? To think about, to take back that power that we each have about how we view things. And I think that's brought up topics like mindset more frequently since the pandemic than before.
If you want to start, let's say, and I'm going back to being a teacher and working with teenagers and the younger generation, and is there any specific books that you can give somebody that young to maybe explain to them to read and to help them in the future that you can suggest for us to give to our kids to read? Something that's not difficult and that a teenager can be able to read.
That's a good question. I was just thinking about this yesterday with my kids. So 16 and 18. And one of the things that I was going to recommend to them, I've got it right here, is The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. But for some kids, like, as I'm thinking, it's quite a range, right? Like, let's say a 13-year-old as opposed to an 18-year-old. So I would say that book, The Big Leap, is for a little older. I gotta look on my bookshelf real quick here to see, like, for the younger ones.
The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck is a great one for young kids.
Oh, my son got that one when he was like 15. Yeah.
And look, it's if you can overlook the word on that, because so there's many books that are using that now because that book became so popular and the title stands out. People didn't want to read it because there was an F word on it. But when you I've read that book a couple times because it really does hit in different ways. And it's not that his knowledge is to swear to get your attention. It's the way that Mark explains his stories to help you be able to understand. You have to not give a fuck. You have to not almost care. And it's not caring for others. It's the boundaries. It's the areas of yourself that you are breaking out and being able to push forwards on. And so I make that a joke because 13 might be a little young still, but I'm not the parent. You could do it whatever you want. Yeah. But I like that your son did do that at 15 because it's a totally different book. And we could easily go, oh, you need to be reading Malcolm Gladwell, Tipping Point. That way you understand the difference in society. But not everybody's going to get that yet. And that book is written in such a good way that I made it a joke, but it is a good book. So Aimee, are you going to write a book?
Yeah, I am actually. It's been on my bucket list for quite a while. And I thought, you know what? It's now. It's within the next year.
I love it.
I'm going to have a book. Yeah.
What is your book going to be?
Well, it's going to be about putting these techniques together, and it's going to be short and sweet. It's going to show that it's possible to do easily. Yeah. And it's probably going to have some fun pictures in it because I'm visual. I like to see pictures too. Yeah. So it's just probably going to be this meta technique, just in its most basic form to make it accessible.
I love it. All right, Ilse, you're up. I have a good one after this.
Okay, I also have a good one. Can you tell us more about the Petite Retreat? How does that work, and what is that? I'm sorry. This is my and Brandon's question.
It's funny watching you two interact. Across the world, right?
Yes, I'm in Ohio and she's in South Africa.
Awesome.
Where are you by chance? Just by chance?
Montana.
Oh,
so that's Montana. Where Mermaid in Montana comes from. Okay, because I wanted to ask why a mermaid in Montana. I want to know.
Yeah, elaborate on that. Like, I wanted to know more about the mermaid thing too, but I wasn't going to ask because I thought it sounded creepy the way I would have asked it. Like, are you really a mermaid?
I do the creepy questions.
The mermaid in Montana was like, well, I feel like I should be on a beach, but I've been landlocked most of my life. So that's where that came from.
I love it.
Yeah, maybe someday.
Now, what about this petite retreat? Now, is this only for females, or if I put a wig on, can I come?
Yeah. So what it's turned out to be so far is like once a season. I like to connect things with the change of seasons and cycles in nature.
Cycles.
So yeah. So we just had one for the equinox, and then we'll do one around the solstice, and so like 4 times a year. And it's just really some intention setting for that next season, and how to make. So first of all, create your vision, and then create some steps to take to get there, and doing it in that kind of community setting with some of these tools. And then, we add a little movement too, like this last time we did some yoga and meditation to end with. And I feel like I know for myself, I've been kind of missing out on a feeling of community. So that's part of the idea of it. And then I also feel like when you do some of this intention setting in a group, it's powerful. You get to hear other people's ideas, thoughts, bounce things off. Then you get to say out loud, what your intentions are. And then, you walk away with some things. We do a little bit of art too. And you walk away with some visuals that you can keep wherever you want to, by your computer or by your mirror, to keep your focus. Because I'm telling you, nothing changes if we don't sit down, find our intentions, create some steps to get there, and then just keep checking in, keep looking at that. Am I still going in that direction? You can zig and zag, but are you still going in that general direction?
With having 2 teenage boys, your life has to be very busy. When you get that time for Aimee, what is the first thing you do?
Ooh, let's see. Okay.
Be honest. If it's Facebook, be honest.
Well, I do love to read. So I've always got some book.
I've got a rebuttal question then. What are you reading right now?
The One Thing.
I don't know this one. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's great. So like I was saying earlier, I'm that like curious and creative person, and I've always got 100, like there's a lot going on in my head, and I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate. So this takes just sort of helps you narrow it down, funnel it down a little bit. Not to say that you can't have a lot of ideas and a lot of stimulation, but that if there's something you really want to move the needle on in your life, like it helps you kind of narrow it down, and it gives you reasons and stories around why that works. And so for me, it's been super helpful. And it takes things like, the to-do list, and instead breaks it down into the success list. Like, you shouldn't have a list of 20 things to do every day. You will fail at that. If you have 1 or 2 things that really matter, focus in there. Now, you may get more than that done, but if, it's a different way of looking at things. You look at a list of 20 and you feel overwhelmed. You look at a list of 2 and you're like, I got this. And so with that momentum, you may do a whole lot more, but it's just, it's really a book about prioritizing.
I love that. I think that's a great thing because there's so many people that do. I saw you, Ilse. I'm complimenting. See the face she makes at me? If she wasn't a shark trainer in her spare time, I wouldn't be so scared of her. But like for real, that is a great thing. And now, do you read like for yourself, or do you read because I like to read? And I ask this because I know so many people hate reading. They're just like, oh, I can't focus. Oh, I don't like it. Oh, it gets boring. But reading is essential. And coming from somebody who is dyslexic, I have 2 master's degrees, and it still takes me absolutely forever to read a chapter. And that's because it's hard for me to do, and I have to take the time to do it. But reading really does make you slow down, you breathe, and you're focused on that. And someone I'm the H of ADHD, as everybody likes to say. And when I sit down to read, if it doesn't captivate me, my mind can think of 10 other stories. So what is a book that you just have to tell people, like, hey, even if you hate reading, read this? And then I'll stop, Ilse. You get 2 questions.
Okay, now this might be too elementary, but let me just show you. No, I take that back. Not anything can be. It's good to be simple.
Oh, I'd love the title.
This is getting so right.
I'm sold already. I want to read that book. I don't like reading, but I don't want to read that book just because it says "Be More Dog."
It's great. It's got pictures and it's one of those things, like, it's deep, but it's also like anybody at any age would get it. And
awesome.
You can open it up anywhere and just get a little kind of like, oh yeah, just lighten it. It just kind of lightens the load.
I love that.
There's a saying that says that sometimes the student becomes the teacher. Has any of your students ever given you unknowingly life advice that changed your life, and what was it?
Ooh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I found that, like, in a teaching setting, kids were doing that all the time. If I was open to it, they were giving me little nuggets for life all the time. But to be honest, I wasn't always open to it, right? You're just thinking like, oh, I gotta manage this, and I gotta get through this curriculum and stuff. But like this last time when I went in, as a long-term sub, I just had a different view of it. And I just went easier on myself about it too. And it turns out I got a lot more out of it with that attitude. And, just, man, I'm trying to kind of distill some of these little moments and these nuggets, but I think kids are rich with those. I remember one time that this is a little different, but one time I had a student tell me when I was teaching a health class, she was maybe like 8 or 9 years old. And she's like, I can't run. I have a soft heart, she said. And I'm sure she was telling me about some medical kind of thing. But I'm like, oh, she's got a soft heart. I can relate.
Me too. I also have a soft heart.
I wish I would have thought of that in school. I like gym class. That's different. But like history class, I could have easily been like, I'm sorry, we can't talk about Hitler today. I have a soft heart. It doesn't want to go with me.
Yes. You're an art teacher. What kind of art do you do in your personal life?
Yeah, I really like just pencil drawings, pen and ink. I love like black and white kind of mediums, and then seeing all of the grays that you can make in between.
I don't see any of your artwork hanging on your walls.
I don't have any of mine up.
I'm looking and I'm like, all right, where is it? I want to see one. Like, but no, I think people have to have that creative mind. Like, from the reading is being the calm mind, the creative mind is the art. It's the writing. It's all these other things. When you started art and all that, how long were you a teacher, by the way? I thought you said you retired and then went back.
Well, yeah. So I taught like 15 years, and then I went into more health promotion stuff. And then, just this last year was when I did that long-term sub. Yeah.
Are you teaching this year?
No.
Okay. With COVID, you've seen the change in school and you've seen these all happening. Being a health coach and being an art teacher, you have the creative mind and you have the horny mind of high school kids.
Yeah.
So with that being said, how have you noticed the changes in the school over this time? Because you were back in school last year for a little bit.
Yeah.
That had to be did you have to wear a mask? Did it get intimidating? Did you want to beat the kids up more because of it? Like, not literally. I want to make sure we're not saying that literally, but just like as a joke. Like, did you see a massive change in the way the school was and the energy of the school? And being a health teacher with a bunch of kids, did you notice that you had anything that you could do to help them get the best health for themselves?
Yeah. So when I walked into the school after not being there for a while, other than like being involved like in my kids' school, but I hadn't taught for a while. So walking in with everybody in masks, that was way different because they're there to socialize. And when part of their face is covered, that was one thing I really noticed, that the interactions were that was missing. I'd also noticed that like the schools were trying to, all of this happened fast, but they were trying to operate in the same way they've always operated. And yet there was this huge change. And so it was like, I hope that changes. In my mind, that was part of why I got out of education, is because I love education, but the system itself, I wasn't really a fit for that. And I didn't want to be an angry, like a grumpy old teacher. And so it was easier for me to remove myself and do my thing than stay in that situation and rail against, a big system. So, yeah, but the masks were really a big
Are the
deal.
masks still mandated in your state? I don't know each state's
Yeah.
regulations because I'm going to use the state of Ohio just as my example because I know it.
Mhm.
The city of Columbus, Ohio,
Mhm.
is a mask mandate. In Cleveland, Ohio, it's not a mask mandate. And what's interesting about that is the political sides, but we won't go there. But it's like to see counties and cities have to pick their own thing, and then states have to do this, and there's such confusion on it. I can't imagine being a kid today. I would like the anxiety I felt as a teenage boy, not getting laid in high school and thinking I'm a loser, to then growing up. I love watching people's face when I say random things. We all had that in high school. Let's be honest. But that stress is already there. Then you add in all these other things. That mask, I cannot tell you how many people. I smile for like everything. I love to just be out. I hold a door. I'll smile. I'll whatever, and I smile. And the reason is because there is so much negative, and that little smile can make a difference in so many people's lives just by doing something that we control. And now we're covering it, and that just hurts me in such deep ways. Is your school still doing these mask mandates? Are the kids getting creative and finding ways to get new masks instead of having it be something covering and all that? Have you seen that take place? And Ilse, you get the next question. I'm sorry, I did 2 in a row again.
Yeah, the masks are required in our schools, but they're not required anywhere else in the city. So that's, there's another kind of confusion. I think that the kids are seeing a lot of double standards, I think. Yeah. And yeah, they're getting creative, and there's all sorts of masks that are really cool looking. And there's some that are, mesh that, that they're like, hey, I got to breathe, and,
I feel the same. I feel the
Yeah.
same. I feel as if I can't breathe in my mask.
Yeah.
Do you think that schools will start falling away and people will start homeschooling their kids more?
I've seen it already more and more in just different people I talk to in different places of the world, that's what they're doing. Like it wasn't their number one choice, but that's where they're at right now, is like, well, I don't know what's going on with the school. It's like, so I gotta find some kind of stability for my kids. And so they're coming up with creative options. Yeah.
I think that they should be coaching. There should be things in school that help the people, not like history and all those crap that they've got in school. They must teach them how to. I saw a lady on LinkedIn advertise that they must teach kids to be kind in schools, and they must teach kids to have compassion, and they must teach kids how to help their fellow men and all that. So I personally think that a lot of schools are just gonna not exist in the future, because a lot of people are pulling back from that kind of control over their kids and everything.
Yeah. There's so much more kids need to know when they get out of school than, you know, what we teach them in history and English and math and all of that. It's like the world is so much bigger than that. There's a lot they need to know, and we could be preparing them better.
I agree. So this went by so fast. I literally have questions I've been writing just to keep talking with you. And you just have this ray of sunshine coming through you, Aimee. So please know I thank you for being on with us today.
Oh, thank you guys so much. I really enjoyed it. And I love your show. I'm going to tell everybody about it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's
yes.
You're gonna make me cry, and I'm not even faking it. So Ilse, it's that time. So Ilse, it is that time. So Aimee, we end every show by just speaking positivity to everybody. You hear it the whole episode, but at the end, we give either a quick synopsis to there's something you just feel on your heart that you've got to be getting off, and you got to get it off. So what we'll do is have Ilse go first, and then I'll go second, and then you will actually go at the end, and we'll say our goodbyes to everybody then. But that way you see how it's done, okay? Awesome. Ilse, show us how it's done, girl.
It's Monday. I am so happy to be here with you. It is almost 6 o'clock in South Africa, but we have learned a lot today. I, in my personal capacity, not even on the show, learned a lot this morning, and then on the show as well. And that's why we're here, to teach ourselves and other people on how to deal with things that we've gone through, because I feel that is why we go through things, is so that we can empower the next person. So every day I've got a card that says, but today's one says, know that tomorrow is today. And then it says at the back, when you visualize your future as your present, you will reduce your proclivity for procrastination. What is the value in waiting? Do it now, because today is tomorrow and tomorrow is today.
Well said. Well said, Ilse. Very good. Wow. This episode had so many different things going through it, from positive self-talk to understanding who we are to Sober October and what that really means to us. And if you felt convicted in any way that you'd like to be able to do something, please know that's what this community is about. Whether it's helping somebody like Bob on Fridays to be out there and spreading positive information as a veteran, or whether it's just walking and picking up garbage on the ground that's not yours. Be a difference, because it's easy to say, and find everybody else is what they're not doing, but are you actually doing it? When you go on a walk and you see that garbage right next to the garbage can, do you just pick it up and throw it in? Do you hold that door for the old lady in the wheelchair, or do you just push her out the wheelchair and roll down the hill? At the end of the day, you need to know that whatever you're going to do, you're doing the best for you and to bring the best out for everybody else. So take today and find that moment of pure you and go change the world.
Perfect lead in. I was just going to say, my favorite saying is know yourself, be yourself. And then I added free yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So take that time, check in with your heart, see what's going on, and, honor yourself, listen to yourself. And that really is the best you can give the world.
God, Aimee, you were incredible. This was a great episode, guys. We are 2 away from 350 on YouTube already, and this has gone so fast. We've grown so fast. Awesome. We are so grateful for everybody. So, Aimee, do me a favor. When you write your book and it gets finished, before it gets published and you're out there and you're running around doing autograph signings and all that, you've got to come back and talk to us about the promotions for the book, what you're doing. And honestly, deep down inside, I'd love if you have your boys stop by too, just so we could say hi to them.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
I
that
would
would be awesome.
We do so much, and we're all about mental health, and we're about like I don't know if you heard, Tuesdays, Testosterone Tuesdays. It's where we focus on men's mental health. Wednesdays are Wonders of Women. And we interview, coming up in 2 weeks, we're actually interviewing the doctor who wrote the book all about breast cancer and how bras are a link to breast cancer. It's the leading link to breast cancer. And we have been doing, we changed the name to Wonder of Women, but it was Whip 'em Out Wednesdays. It just didn't sound right. Like, sounded like a grown man came up with it just quickly. Like, I'll just say that. But like, we're about finding the best and helping people find that information so they can look inside to find themselves and love themselves. And you don't only just do that. You brought it, you live it, and you show it. So, Aimee, please keep us in touch. Please let us know when you write the book. And you're welcome back to the Java Delight /Delight Cafe anytime you want. Okay?
Thank you so much. Good big
Thank
heart
you.
for you.
Thank you.
You guys are awesome.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. That was so much.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
She didn't want to stick around.
Oh, bye.
We're still live.
How was today's show? It was always still live. Hello, guys.
I don't know why. There's an error occurring on StreamYard today.
Oh, crap. Let me see if I...
See if you can end it.
We have a bug. We have a bug.
It was kicking us out of things the whole episode. Guys, thanks for still being here. If you see us, say hello. We love you guys.
You're paying us overtime today. It also
All right,
doesn't
let
want
me
to
try
enter my
something.
side.
It wouldn't let you leave either?
Mm-mm.
All right, I'm going to try
It doesn't
something.
want me to enter broadcast.
All right, I'm going to try something. Love you guys.